All right, high rollers, something a little different today. How about some soft tip darts? Now, I will admit I do not follow soft tip darts, although I have checked it out on YouTube time and again. I have seen a perfect game of cricket, which is quite a feat. I have tried it once as well, but that was a long, long time ago. I will say this. The game seems to be huge in certain parts of the world, growing daily, and from what I understand, the game is on the rise across the UK. Myself personally, I prefer steel tip, but our guest today is here to set me straight. Dan Booth is the founder of Soft Tip Central UK, a place where they review and analyze soft tip darts products for the UK and European market. They've also got a big tournament planned for this Sunday for Autism Awareness. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks so much for being our high roller today.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me on.
You know, it was back in the 80s. I was a teenager when I tried soft tip darts. They had this machine in the bar where I played League, so I tried it. I did not like it. The darts were light. The machine made lots of noise. And I must admit, I think I already had steel tip ingrained on the membrane. I know soft tip has come a long, long way since then. We'll talk about that in a second. But why do you love soft tip so much?
I love soft tip purely because of the community that's sort of built around it. It's not been in the UK for very long at all, to be perfectly honest with you. And it's sort of been brought to the forefront ever since the COVID-19 pandemic sort of hit, because people can actually interact with others all over the world in the comfort of their own living room. So it's been great for people to sort of connect and be able to sort of still play darts in this sort of testing time. I mean, I've played steel tip for over 20 years and I've always loved my steel tip game. I've played League, I've played Super League and different sort of formats of steel tip. But the soft tip side of things, sort of, only bought my board in March. So I haven't even been playing it very long, but the community that surrounds the Nexus board in itself is just absolutely fantastic, and it sort of brought everybody together. So that's why I love it. That's what's helped me to fall in love with the soft tip game. It's just a really good way of connecting with people literally all over the world.
Because the traditional game in the UK, obviously, steel tip, so many great legends of that game, but you say something very interesting there. The lockdown, the COVID-19 pandemic, it's really shone a light on the Nexus and also soft tip darts. So in a strange way, it's a good thing because it's opening up the game to more people.
Yeah, 100%. It's making people realise that you don't have to go down the pub on a Friday to be able to play darts. You can connect with people through soft tip, and you can sort of play in the comfort of your own living room. You can get your family involved. You can have 4 different accounts on one board, so you can have sort of family afternoons where all the kids can play and you can play and the other half can play, and it's just a great way of bringing people together. Whereas with steel tip, it really has sort of been always aimed at the sort of the Friday night, the man goes out or the women go out and they have a couple of beers at the pub and they play their league match, and it's sort of very disconnected from sort of home life. Whereas this, it sort of integrates it into sort of what you can do as a family, and it brings people together. And I honestly believe that. I mean, I've met some fantastic people over the last 3 months that I will probably consider friends for life.
I mean, technology is amazing for that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's all run through a tablet that's actually embedded inside the board, and that connects directly to your Wi-Fi, and then that puts you into a server that connects with people all around the world. I've played a gentleman called Edison Fung. He's from, I think, Singapore, and I've played him. He's a 8-flight sponsored professional, and I've played him, and it's been sort of 11:45 midnight here, and he's bright and sprightly playing his game at sort of 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it's really good. It's really funny, the different time zones.
Well, that's the other thing that you mentioned, because I've seen Glenn Durant tweet out things and other professionals as well that, hey, I'm hopping on the Nexus. Anybody want a game? So for some of these fans, they're getting quite lucky, right? They get to play their idol and also a world elite player.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Raymond van Barneveld. I've played Glenn Durant. I've played the professional snooker player Stephen Hendry. There's been professional footballers on there, like Jamie Redknapp has been on there, or soccer player. He's been on the Target Nexus board. But yeah, it's a really, really good way for people to to sort of get a little bit starstruck, and sort of you send them an invite and they accept it, and everything goes to pop because you start shaking like a leaf. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for people to connect with people that are usually they can only really see through their television, which is it's nice. And they sort of always give you a wave and a smile at the end of the game, round of applause and stuff. So because these are all camera integrated, you can see your opponent. So, I mean, as you're playing Raymond van Barneveld, you're actually watching him throw his darts against you, which is a completely surreal experience.
It's one of the great things about darts when you think of it. I mean, not too often are you going to get a chance to play golf with Tiger Woods, but in darts, hey, hop on the Nexus.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And there are more and more people getting involved in the community every day. There's more boards being sold all over the world. In America, they're quite popular, but it's mainly sort of the Asian community that are really big on their 8 flight and target stuff out there. I mean, the second best player in the world at soft tip darts is Paul Lim, and he's a target sponsored player. So you can see the massive connection between those two that's making the Target Nexus board an extremely popular platform to play soft tip on.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I think about soft tip darts, I think about my good friend at Meryl180, Meryl Von Selm. She does a fantastic job covering the soft tip scene. We've had her on the show. But of course, the legendary Paul Lim as well, a legend of both variants. I mean, soft tip and steel tip. What this guy has done for the game, North America, Singapore, everywhere, really. He's an absolute legend.
He is a complete ambassador for both sports. He's a really, really nice guy as well. He's always very, very happy to help people out, which I think is extremely important when you're, an ambassador of a sport or a brand, or you're trying to encourage people to embrace something that you love. It's always good to be a nice person, and he's genuinely a nice guy.
Now, let's talk about the two disciplines. Obviously, they're very similar. You're throwing darts after all, but they're quite different too. You're always going for the bullseye, is that correct? And maybe some other differences, if you will.
Yeah, soft tip darts is completely different in the way people play it. I'm too old school for my own good. I will stick on the 20s no matter what. Living daylights out of some people that I play, because if I was shooting balls all day, I'll probably have a much, much better average than I do. But I do like to stick to the 20s. The difference between a standard steel tip board and a soft tip board is that the 25 and the bullseye on soft tip both register as 50 points. So it's a massive area to gain a huge advantage. So that's a massive area for people to get quite a high score, whereas a triple 20 is only tiny in comparison. So that's why a lot of people will go for the bullseye and will shoot for the bullseye, because you can up your averages, you can get bigger scores by aiming at a much larger target.
Very, very interesting. Now, is it safe to say, with the game growing, especially in the UK and North America, do most soft tip players play steel tip as well? Is that how they got introduced to it?
To be honest with you, in the UK, that's completely and utterly foregone conclusion, in my honest opinion. There's no way that you would pick up a soft tip dartboard and go and play soft tip darts if you've never picked up a steel tip before. In my honest opinion, I don't think that would be the case. But in America, I've spoken to some of the American international players. I've been reviewing some darts from a lady called Chris Grimel. She's an American international player at soft tip darts, and she's only ever played soft tip darts. So in America, it's kind of, there is no real call for the steel tip game out there. So it is purely a soft tip. And I mean, soft tip's been going out there for goodness knows how many years. I mean, you've got so many different brands of board over in America. You've got a sort of V-Darts, Grand Board, Arachnid, Ball Shooter, and then the Nexus board as well. So the Nexus, in comparison to these other brands, is just a little baby, whereas these ones have been established for many, many years. So the soft tip game in America is foremost the main game that they will play. Steel tip sort of takes a back seat. So it's a complete role reversal to the UK.
Very interesting. Okay, very interesting. Now, I mentioned I played it a long time ago. I mean, you put coins in the machine, made all kinds of noise. At the beginning of lockdown, I watched one of the big events from Asia. And, I mean, it was well produced. It was quite an event to watch. But the machines are making all kinds of noise. Well, it's big over there, right?
It's huge, and yes, the boards still do make lots of noise. And every time you score over 100, it'll go to a cutscene on the tablet and play some music to inform you that you've thrown over 100. And the same again for ton 80s and for a hat trick, which is 3 bullseyes, and various different ways of scoring, you'll get different awards for that. And I think it's really good because it's good for kids as well, because the kids love it when the screen starts flashing at them. But VDarts, the company VDarts, are on a completely different level. They have their board's completely integrated with LED lights, so every area will light up when you hit it, and then the lights will just all flash around the board, LEDs when you hit a ton 80 and stuff like that. So it is really very, very sort of high intensity, high energy that you get from the board. So there's good interaction with the board as well, I think.
Yeah, it seems very interactive and very loud and proud. And I'm trying to think of something comparable. I mean, a video game, but also across bowling alleys in North America, you see they really jazz it up when you hit a strike or two. So they're really trying to bring the player and the fans into it as one.
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, you're completely right. I mean, when you hit a strike or a spare in bowling, you always get sort of like a cartoon pop up on the score screen. And I suppose it's a lot like that in similarity, really. And I mean, you get the LED lights down the side of the alleys, and the sort of like they put UV lights on the bowling pins in our country. So I suppose you've got that sort of same similarity between the two.
Let's talk about Soft Tip Central UK. Tell me about it. I know you've got a YouTube channel. You're testing, reviewing, analyzing product, right?
Yeah, it's something that I kind of did as a hobby. My stepson Tyler's autistic, and he has Asperger's, and he's absolutely obsessed with YouTube. So one day I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll do a review of a set of darts, and he can sort of tell his friends, and he can go around and say that his stepdad's a YouTuber. So I did one, and then it kind of caught on. People started getting behind me, and people started asking me to do another review. And then I spoke to a gentleman called Per Anasdal from Super Darts, and he was extremely interested in me reviewing his darts from his company. So it's just sort of gone from there, from strength to strength to strength. And then we brought out a range of T-shirts. So people have been buying personalised T-shirts all across the UK. I've sent them to Germany, to Denmark, to Norway, to America, and just literally the Soft Tip Central logo with their name on the front of the T-shirt, or their initial on the front of the T-shirt. And it's just grown massively since then, and to the point where it's sort of become a little bit too much for me to keep up with. So I've taken a couple of people on board to help me sort of organise tournaments and stuff like that, and we're just literally growing by the day. It's really quite awe-inspiring, really. I've never really been in this situation. It's a little bit weird for me, but it's good, just doing really well, and we just did it for the fun. We just love the game. We love having a laugh and a joke. We love helping people, giving them advice, doing the reviews, and hoping people can sort of look at that and gain a bit of knowledge from them to make a sort of decision on how they want to be able to buy a set of soft tip darts or a board or play a game, so that it helps them to become a better soft tip player, maybe up their averages, or tell them or help them to sort of encourage other people to play it as well, because all the time the community's growing. It's just a fantastic thing for soft tip darts. And for everybody, really, it's just a really nice way to pull people together. And that channel seems to have done that with over 300 subscribers now.
Yeah, I mean, I was on it today, 334 subscribers, Soft Tip Central UK. I like the channel. One thing I like about it, you're reviewing equipment. Can you tell me the difference in a steel tip dart and a soft tip dart?
Yeah, there's many differentials, really. Obviously, a steel tip dart, we generally have a fixed point, whereas on soft tip darts, you generally have replaceable tips and points, purely because if you have a bounce out, it's more than likely that your tip is going to bend because it is soft plastic. So you obviously then have to have two holes, one in each end of the dart, to be able to then have a stem coming out at one end and replacement tips at the other end. So what you'll also find is that soft tip darts are a lot lighter than you would find in a steel tip dart, purely because the boards can't handle that amount of weight being thrown at them, because they only have a very, very thin, sensitive membrane behind them that actually registers the scores. If you throw something too heavy at it, it's more than likely going to damage that membrane. And another real interesting thing between steel tip and soft tip darts is they're actually regulated in certain countries. In certain countries, you can only throw darts under a certain weight. They won't let you, if you're found to be using a heavier weight in a competition, you will get disqualified purely because of the damage that a heavier dart will do to the board. So it's quite a serious thing.
Wow, very interesting stuff. Okay, so I got to get more into soft tip, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's brilliant. Everybody has a lot of fun. I mean, I've set up 3 tournaments now. I'm in 2 leagues, I've got another league that's just starting probably next week. We're doing a junior tournament for Autism Awareness again at the beginning of next month. So it's just a really, really good way of getting everybody involved, getting around the house, not sitting in front of another Netflix box set, and just doing something a little bit different.
Now, another thing I like about your YouTube channel is you're helping people with tutorials on that Nexus board. So that's a very good thing, because I personally would find it confusing. But you're right, there's so much great stuff out there. You mentioned manufacturers like Super Darts. I know Super Darts has helped you out a great deal, some great equipment. Tell me about that company.
So yeah, that company was a company that was started by a gentleman called Per Anisdal from Norway. So he started the company in 2007, I believe, and then there was a massive recession hit, and he stopped producing darts. Now, he came back about 2-3 years ago, and in all honesty, I've been throwing darts for over 20 years, and they're the best darts I've thrown. And he does steel tip and soft tip, but they're just beautifully constructed. The company, they've got some fantastic players on board in America, in the UK. They're actually designing Dean Winstanley's signature darts now. So they brought Dean Winstanley on board, who's a big name over here in the UK. And they're just going from strength to strength. But the design and the workmanship that goes into the darts is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've played with a lot of darts. And another thing about them is most darts generally tend to lose their grip after a while, steel tip or soft tip. But the grip that they have on these darts, I don't know how they do it, but it's just absolutely fantastic. They have an awesome motto as well. So that the motto of the company is "When you love the game," and they truly believe in that, and they will not adhere themselves to players that don't have that ethos. So everybody that is part of the Super Darts family absolutely love darts. They're not in it for the money. They're not in it for the showmanship. They're in it because they love the game. And I think that's really important, that you can lose track of things a lot when you've got a lot of lights around you and people around you, but they're such a focused company. And they've been so generous, so welcoming to myself. For somebody that's never really ever done anything like this, it was really nice for them to show that faith in me, and give me a chance to prove myself. And they've sort of sent me 3 or 4 sets now of their darts, which I'm reviewing at the moment. And they're just such an amazing support. And Per is a really, really nice, genuine person. And it's good to talk to people, and good for people to have that confidence, because they're just growing in the UK as well. They've only just come over here in the last sort of 6 to 8 months or so properly. And I just want to be able to help grow their soft tip side of their company and show the world that these are, in my honest opinion, probably the best darts I've ever thrown.
When you love the game, that is a great motto. I'll tell you what, I love their website, superdarts.no. Superdarts.no. I was on it today, and if their equipment is anything like their website, which is very clean and very sleek, then you're right, it's a fantastic company. You are heavily involved, you mentioned it already, with Autism Awareness and Darts. We've recently had both Charlie Gray and Harvey Stringer on the show. We've had Henry on a few times as well. You're planning a big tournament. Now, I think you said you've got an event next month, but do you also have an event this weekend? Is that right?
Yeah, we every single event that we do, we like to sort of attach it to the autism awareness in darts, because I think that in everything we do, if that's the forefront of what we do, then more people become aware. Every single person that enters the tournament knows that it's associated with this cause, and I think it's extremely important. And I believe in the cause, and I believe in Henry 100%. I think what Henry's doing is fantastic. I think he's doing an absolutely superb job. A really, really nice guy. Charlie Gray, absolutely superb dart player. He's a phenomenal thrower as well. And little Harvey. Well, what can you say about Hurricane Harvey? A kid his age to be taking on the people that he's taking on and beating them hands down. He's just an absolute superstar. He's gonna be one of the names of the future, I think. And I honestly think that autism awareness in darts is something that's going to grow. I think people need to understand that being autistic is not a bad thing. It just makes you a unique person. And the only difference between myself and somebody that's autistic is just that they see the world in a completely different way. And that isn't always the wrong way. It's just different. And people just need to give people a little bit more time and take a little bit more time to understand people. And if you can take 2 minutes out of your day to understand autism, it makes a massive difference to a multitude of different people. Because the spectrum is so vast, you may not know initially that somebody is autistic, but there are little traits that you'll pick up on. But having an understanding of autism will help you to pick up on that and give those people the patience and the time that they need to adjust to you, as well as you have to adjust to them. So I think awareness is key. I don't think Henry's interested in raising thousands and thousands of pounds for this cause, because awareness doesn't cost anything. You literally, just to be aware, it will take 2 to 3 minutes of your time to just have a look it up, to research it, to take a bit of time to understand what autism is all about. And that's why I'm a massive supporter of it. As I said, my stepson, Tyler, he is autistic and he has Asperger's. And he has never picked up a set of darts in his life until we got the Nexus board. And now I don't get a lot of time on it because I'm having to try and kick him off all the time.
Oh, I think that is fantastic. It's a great effort that you all are doing. If people want to get involved or play, how do they do that?
Yeah, so they're more than welcome to contact us on our socials. So we are on Twitter, Facebook, and we also have an email address now as well. So I'll sort of ping those details across to you. But yeah, I'd like to sort of give this opportunity for anybody that owns a Nexus board out there to just get in contact with us via our social medias. Let us know what you want to do, whether you want to play, whether you want to be a part of Soft Tip Central UK. Everybody is welcome. We welcome any ages, any abilities. There are some people that have an extremely high PPD, and there are other people that have a very small PPD, and we will be able to cater for everybody. So anybody is welcome to take part in any of our tournaments.
This has been very educational, enlightening, folks. Dan Booth from Soft Tip Central UK, good luck with your event this weekend, all your events. And thank you so much for your time today. Much appreciated, man. Thanks for letting me know about soft tip darts, because I was in the dark until today.
That's not a problem at all. Thank you for having me on. It's great to be able to speak to a wider audience, just so that people can see that soft tip is out there. It is great fun. You can get involved in many, many different things regarding soft tip darts, and you can get the family involved. So it is a really good tool. I love it. And thank you for having me on.